Tourism and heritage intermingles seamlessly this month as we explore South African heritage sites. Table Bay is home to Robben Island, north of Cape Town. The site is known as a place where political activist Nelson Mandela was imprisoned there for 27 years. The cradle of humankind in Gauteng province is a paleoanthropological site known for its complex limestone caves. The Free State province is home to the Fredefort Dome, the largest verified impact crater on Earth, with more than 300 kilometers across where the crater was formed. The Drakensberg enfolds the central southern African plateau. The Great Escarpment reaches its greatest elevation from 2,000 to 3,482 meters within the border region of South Africa and Lesotho. Isimangaliso Wetland Park is along the coast of KwaZulu-Natal province. The park's centerpiece, Lake St. Lucia, houses large numbers of hippos, crocodiles, pelicans, and flamingos, just to mention but a few species found here. The site is also known for its colorful coral reefs. The Limpopo province is home to the Kingdom of Mapungubwe, a medieval state located at the confluence of Shashe and Limpopo River.
Happy Spring Month, Happy Heritage Month, and Happy National Tourism Month. September brings with it the promise of new things and rebirth. With the anticipation of warmer weather and allowances for leisure travel, we at Trendz Travel are so excited to be able to take you back out into the wild, wide provinces. Right now though, let's dive into today's edition of your favorite lifestyle and travel program. Standard Bank and the National Arts Festival are proud to present a new solo exhibition by the 2020 Standard Bank Young Artist Award winner for visual art, Blessing Ngombeni. Titled Chaotic Pleasure, the much anticipated body of work was first exhibited as part of the virtual National Arts Festival and is presented in association with Everard Reed. Chaotic Pleasure speaks truth to historical and present-day systems of power and oppression, and Trendz Travel sat down with him to find out more.
Visual artist Blessing Ngombeni is the winner for this year's Standard Bank Young Artist Award in the visual arts.
Hey, Jabulo.
How's it? Born in the real small town of Tsanim in Limpopo, Ngombeni traded his orange overall after serving time in prison for paint and brush. We spent a day with this young artist at his studio where his creativity is unleashed. He showed off his latest work and old display.
The first day when I received a phone call from, I think, Novesutu, she said to me, hey, I'm just calling you to tell you that you are the recipient of the Standard Bank Young Artist of the Year 2020. For me, it was an exciting moment. It was like I had boom bumps in my body, like I could not believe. So I was overexcited, and then at the very same time I was like, oh, this is an opportunity that I should now start to challenge myself and challenge my art and challenge what I think about the narration of our black society at large.
The work that won him this prestigious award and title of this year's artist is called Chaotic Pleasures.
A chaotic pleasure is a body of work that is borrowed from the historical events, which questions the today's life of the black child, which also enable me to visualize the future of this child, because this child right now is standing in a crossroad where it don't know which path to take. So therefore, the chaotic pleasure itself, it narrates the story of a white person that walked into our African landscapes and then saw the beautiful landscapes and did not recognize or did not count black people, those who were living in this landscape. And then he then chased them away, and then they leave their own graveyards, their own stocks, the cattle, which these cattle today they were supposed to be helping this black child.
Ngobeni's exhibition is a display of social ills, highlighting the theme around racial segregation, gender inequality, to mention a few.
Shopping for the Black Skin is one of the work that is currently showing at the Standard Bank Virtual Exhibition Show, which is the work that is basically speaking about Western people walked into Africa. They came for their sexual satisfaction pleasures, sexual satisfaction desires. At the very same time, they came also to enslave, to take the black people away from their own families, which resulted to find that the black child right now is suffering. The Thing of the Past Haunt is a work that is also speaking about when you read the history, when you come across with the history, when you think about how rich the Africans was, because remember that the real history was erased, and the black child's history never started only after the slave ship. There was a history beyond slave ship where our black people had riches, within themselves, and then the white person walked in and then invaded and then took those riches from the black child. That is a cause of today's problem of the black child to not have resources. The other piece that is striking in this exhibition is the Blunt Question. It's an installation that representing our 54 countries in Africa, which is the result of these 54 countries. It is because the system came and divided into pieces, which is a cause of poverty in Africa. Because if we would be able to walk from Cape to Cairo, for instance, we would be able to share, our wealth, share our skills, be able to not be questioned. It pains when our South African rand is like the currency is very high. Immediately when you go across the Africa, then you get a currency that is useless. What's the use of having those things instead of using one currency and then we walk? Like Europe, they have one thing, they have one walk, they have one trains, they have America, they have all those. That's why they are rich. So what is it stopping us? That's the blunt question that is being spoken about in the piece. Yeah.
With interest of giving back to the community, the liberated artist not only pursues and pushes his artwork, he also mentors and provides support to younger upcoming artists through the Blessing Ngobeni Art Prize, which is currently in its 4th year.
We will be back with more of Trendz Travel after this very short break, but in the meantime, why not hit us up on Twitter or on Instagram? That's @Trendz on SABC, and in celebration of National Tourism Month, let us know your favorite destination in South Africa. Hashtag us on #SABC News. A long time ago, in a suburb far away, a dream was born. A dream to transcend galaxies and universes, comics and cartoons, movies and monsters, to create a warehouse of wonders for old and young. Out of the ether, fueled by fans and fantasy, Comic Warehouse came into being. Now we know that interprovincial travel has been allowed on lockdown level 2, but for an out-of-this-world experience, we found that we didn't even have to leave the province of Gauteng. Take a look.
Once you enter this place, you escape the ordinary and mundane and are transported into a world of fantasy. At the entrance, you are greeted by an angry, larger-than-life, really green Hulk, displayed in all his fury and aggression, towering as though denying you entrance. His lifelike features and menacing eyes are less than inviting. But luckily, his eyes aren't the only ones to greet us.
We are actually a life-size statue specialist. We are the distributor for the items that you see behind me. They range in value according to also how many models were produced. The ones you see behind me are collectible. There only are a certain number produced. The values really depend on how the model is made and how popular the model is at a point in time.
These aren't just any statues. They are the otherworldly gods that have invaded our imaginations. They are the villains that we have come to love despite ourselves. And they are the heroes and superheroes that have saved us from a life less ordinary and who live in this warehouse.
The Comic Warehouse is a pop culture warehouse. We focus on everything that is collectible, from sort of your lower value to your higher value items. We're a comic specialist, graphic novels, you name it. We've got everything from t-shirts to models.
Now we know that Kitty's authentic licensed clothing memorabilia is quite easy to come by, but as an adult fiction fan, finding it is a bit harder. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get back into the world of graphic novels.
The comic book industry has been around for many, many years. It's a very old industry. The books are still very, very popular, believe it or not. They become highly collectible and they are highly valuable. And I guess as less and less prints go on of these comics, they will increase in value and their stories are endless.
Yes, the stories are endless, but so are the story universes that exist.
The DC and Marvel universes are very huge universes, but there are other universes other than DC and Marvel. We also have, call it independent publishers, and there are other comics around that happen with those independent publishers.
And of course, each has its own price point and sentimental value.
A great CGC signed and graded comic, it can go into the many tens of thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands. CGC is a grading council, and what this council does, they're based in the United States, and they take a comic book, they look at its origin, its value, all the authorization around its signatures, and they give that comic a purpose, a date, and a value. What also makes a comic quite valuable is, the character in the comic, whether it's a first appearance of that character, if it's a popular character at the time, if a story has changed. There are quite a few variables.
And right now it goes without saying that the character of Black Panther is the hottest commodity.
Black Panther is it's always going to be a part of the South African heritage. Obviously it's one of the bigger African characters, but we are celebrating the memory of the loss of the actor in a different kind of way.
But there is so much more to discover, like the crimes of Grinwald display with their own eerie life-size statues and figures. My personal favorite is the Star Wars corner. Life-size stormtroopers complete with awesome galactic weapons guard the entrance. Inside, you will find all your Star Wars favorites. The wise, cryptic, and totally adorable Yoda stands proud. Not far from him is the character most associated to the series, R2-D2. If you're a little budget conscious, then there's still the option of grabbing a graphic novel or, of course, any of the various collectible items.
And we're appealing to the collector out there. Comics and collectibles are a very, very part of our collectible pop culture.
But wait, there's more.
We've also expanded into model cars, die-cast models, and we've got cars that range from vintage up until up to supercars. Also, all collectible and highly desirable. Another part of our destination is we're big on food. We have Kaylee's Vegan Restaurant. And Kaylee's Vegan Market.
The market is a healthy response to COVID-19, not just filled with food, but ironically, superfood.
And what we're trying to do is we're embracing the ongoing trend of veganism. People eating healthy, as you can imagine. COVID's hit us in a terrible way this year. We'd like people to start getting a bit healthier, so we're being progressive in that way. And we also have a cookie company that focuses more on the American-baked type of cookies and imported sweets and chocolates.
And what would that be without giant chocolate chip cookies and, of course, the classic American brownie? All in all, it is a fantastic day out.
The majestic mountains of Newcastle are what draws tourists here. But there's much more to this town. Like this war museum, the Fort Amil. If you blinked, you'd miss it.
Around Newcastle, the most famous battles that took place were from the First Anglo-Boer War, from 1880 to 1881. So it was the British who fought against the Transvaal Republic. And at the end of that war, the final battle was fought at Majuba Mountain. The oldest inhabitants of Newcastle in this area was the Khoisan people, who were Stone Age people. And they used stone to make objects, and they would gather hunterers as well. And then we get the influx of the Amashlubi people 700 years ago, which were Iron Age people. So they started working with iron and manufacturing things. They were also farmers with cattle and with other food that they were planting. Over here we've got on display a Zulu outfit with the traditional spear knobkerrie, and also the shield and the ibeshu. What is also important was that beer was one of the major items that were consumed to communicate with the forefathers and to give power to the Zulu warriors to be able to fight in their battles. The local Amashlubi that stayed here in Newcastle, actually many of them participated on the side of the British. So it is interesting that it was not only a white and black war as such, so there were also other factors that played a major role during that war that makes it more complicated. This is the typical rifle that was used by the British during the Anglo-Zulu War and also the first Boer Wars during the 1870s and 80s. It was a single bullet rifle where you actually slotted it in there. So every time after you've been shooting, you would have actually reloaded the rifle. So this is typical of the time. It would have also been fitted with a knife here at the front, or a bayonet, to also being able to stab your enemy if you came too close to him.
So who is this fella, and what is he doing over here?
This is our local cook here at the fort, and as you would know, a soldier's always hungry. They just don't fight, they've got to eat as well. So he's making some stew over there in the pot, and there are actually 2 fireplaces in this cookhouse. There used to be 3 cookhouses because there were at a good time at least 200 soldiers at the fort. Then you will see also all the bottles. So there were no plastics in the old days, so everything was put into glass bottles, from your cooking oil up to your beer and your sauces, everything basically.
Please tell me about this train.
This train dates from 1938, and it was used on our steel works in the old days, because steel was one of our main industries of Newcastle. But our railway history is also very old. Already in the late 1880s, the railway lines was connected from Ladysmith to Newcastle, and then from here to Charlestown, and then eventually to Johannesburg in the 1890s with the industrialization of South Africa. So our railway history is very interesting. This specific train was built in 1938, and it was used as a shunter engine to transport coal.
And we sealed our tour with a bang.
We have so much more of Trendz travel for you right after this very short break, so do not go anywhere. Art can be birthed from anything. Up next, we see recycled yarn that has been transformed into everyday art, and a young gentleman in Cape Town creates magic with clay.
Kokisa Sigwebu makes crocheted home and fashion accessories using t-shirt yarn, a skill she learned all on her own.
I discovered this way back in 2016. I was just doing market walkabouts, nothing hectic. And then I walked past a store with these big balls of t-shirt yarn and big knitting needles. And I was so drawn to it. And I bought two balls and these knitting needles. I could knit, I could not crochet. So I was like, okay, let me take that. Took that, got home, I made scarves. And then I got bored because I know this already, you know? And then the next market, I saw a crochet hook. Now get this one, I didn't use it for like weeks. And then the one night I could not sleep. And I'm like, you know what, let me do this thing. That pagama, got on my couch, my little couch there, and I started crocheting, like freestyling, literally. And then one thing led to another. And then I couldn't sleep because now I was excited about all of this, like this new adventure I'm on. I can literally make anything that I want to make. If I decide I'm going to make a huge chandelier, I've made those. If I decide on something, I make sure that I make it. But business-wise, I do focus on, we have a lifestyle range, which is now for your home. We make throws, cushions, and little stools like that one over there. And then we have fashion. I want to see this in people's homes, and I've focused on a few selected accessories. So this is a bikini top. So these tassels, I made them halfway through here. But if client wants them to go all the way around the waist and longer, you know, so it's always about what the client prefers. It's so versatile. It's not a bikini top. I could literally put it over my skirt and other high waist pants, and even on the polo neck, it still works. You know what I mean? So it's like an accessory when you don't have accessories to wear. Okay, this, it is such a versatile thing, but it is a unisex scarf. I call it a neck bracer scarf. Literally, it's like a neck brace, but it's a scarf. But wait. Scarf and a hat. This, my people, is one of the very first pieces I made as soon as I discovered crocheting. But obviously I could only figure the round necks only, and then later I decided to add the tassels. I mean, they just work.
The beauty of this cotton yarn is that it is friendly on all skin types.
If you get tired of your neck pieces as neck pieces, they could, if you got like those round mirrors, it could just be like a mirror frame. You pop onto your mirror and voila, you have a whole new mirror.
Cape Town-based artist Sikom Ugu creates beautiful art decor and homeware with clay.
The products that I do is mostly functional items. I would say like 80% functional and 20% deco items, which is the functional. We talk about the tableware, your coffee mugs, your tea sets, your jugs, you name them. But when it comes to the deco ones, we're talking about the vases and the lidded jars, and including sculptures. Very versatile. I do anything that can be made out of clay. we used to have these great markets, especially craft markets that we attend during the weekends or once a month or something like that. But then now, since we're on lockdown, we are under these restrictions, there's just nothing much happening. So we just relying on the social media and the internet only.
Although he has faced hurdles due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there's hope on the horizon.
And this is me, Eloise Scoble, signing out from the Comic Book Warehouse right here in Johannesburg, South Africa. We look forward to seeing you again next week, same place, same time. But remember that if you've missed one of our episodes, you can catch us on YouTube. See you again next week.